Anyone in the class, can you tell me what are the various topologies?
Mesh topology, star topology, ring topology,
Bus and
Bus
hybrid
topology.
topology.
bus and hybrid topology.
Hybrid topology.
What is mesh topology? What is mesh?
Every device is connected to all other devices. Every device is connected to n-1 devices.
Point to point.
Each are connected with each one.
Point linked to every other device.
Okay, what are the advantages?
Traffic problems are eliminated. Fault
It
detection
is
is
robust.
Privacy and security.
Robust. The mesh topology is robust, ma'am.
Okay, disadvantages?
hardware.
Installation is difficult, ma'am. Bulk wiring is
Expensive.
needed.
Okay. So what is star topology?
Stations are connected to a central point called hub, ma'am. Hub can act as exchanger, ma'am.
What are
If
the
one
advantages?
device want to send,
Okay, if one device wants to send a data, so
it
it
sends
has
to controller, ma'am.
Data to all
The
other
controller will transfer to other station.
fine. So what are the advantages?
High speed, ma'am. Highly efficient.
highly
scalable,
highly
safe
reliable,
to
point to point.
device network,
Safe to use.
highly
Disadvantages?
Requires additional equipment, ma'am, like
High maintenance.
maintenance.
No. The main disadvantage of star topology.
If hub is failed, then everything
dependency of the whole topology on single point called hub, ma'am.
Yeah, that is the main disadvantage. After that only you have to tell the rest of the disadvantages. What is bus topology?
Bus is like multi-point connection, ma'am.
Multi-point connections, ma'am.
All devices are connected to
there will
single
be a
cable.
long cable, ma'am. It is a backbone for entire topology.
So there will be a long cable which is called as the backbone to which all the devices will be connected. Okay, right. How they are connected? They will be connected with drop lines and tabs. And at both the ends of this particular long cable, there will be a terminator.
Says a terminator.
Yeah. The terminator, in case if the terminator is loose or if there is some fault in the terminator, there will be signal reflection and then there will be noise included in the data transmission. So these are all the topologies we have seen. What is ring topology?
Point-to-point connection is used in ring topology, ma'am. We use repeaters, ma'am.
At each and every device, there will be a repeater. So the repeater will actually regenerate the digital signal so that the signal strength will be good, because after some point of transmission, the signal becomes weak. So to regenerate the signal is important so that the quality of the message is not lost. So that is ring topology. What is the disadvantage with the ring topology?
A break in single ring will disable the entire network, ma'am.
Okay, the reason is because it is unidirectional traffic. Okay, right. And what is hybrid topology?
It's a combination of bus and
Combination of
star topology, ma'am.
different
Okay.
topologies.
That's an example I have given you. It can be combination of any two topologies together. Okay, but the example I have given you is where we have the bus and the star topology here. So the next topic is categories of networks. Okay, so the network models. So we'll look into this. Standards are needed for heterogeneous networks. What is heterogeneous network? Heterogeneous network is like the hybrid topology that I have talked about. Like you have a LAN here and then a LAN here, and this LAN can be of star topology and this LAN can be of a bus topology, and you are connecting these two networks together, then you call that as heterogeneous network. And standards are needed to establish the communication between these heterogeneous networks. And we do have a standard which is OSI, which is a model. So the best known standards are the OSI and the internet models. In the later part of your first unit, we'll look into what is OSI specifically, because that is there in your syllabus. We'll look into what is Open Systems Interconnection in detail, which is a 7-layer network, and I'll discuss all that. As of now, just remember that the open systems interconnection is a 7-layer network model. Okay, right. And the second model is the internet model, which is the 5-layer network, which is the TCP/IP model. So these are the two models that are available to establish connection between two networks, which can be a heterogeneous network. And coming to the network, based on the size of the network, there are two primary categories of the network. The first one is the LAN, second one is WAN, and the third one, which is MAN, but popularly we'll be seeing LAN and WAN only. Okay, right. Now coming to what is a LAN. LAN is local area network. So the distance, if you want to connect within like 100 to 1000 meters, then you call that systems connected within 100 or 1000 meters, you call that as a LAN. For example, systems connected in a home office or systems connected in a building, all that come under the LAN. Okay, and it is designed to provide local interconnectivity because it is limited to specific meters of 1000 meters is 1 kilometer. So it is restricted to 1 kilometer distance only. So that's why we say that it is designed to provide local interconnectivity. Now coming to what is WAN. WAN is wide area network. Wide area network is your internet itself, which includes long distances. Like it can be a continent, it can be a country, or it can be the whole world itself. So that is called as wide area networks. And as I said, it provides connectivity over large areas. And the third category is MAN. Okay, so MAN is metropolitan area networks. So the size of the network is in between this LAN and WAN, and it spans to 10 miles. Okay, so we know that 10 miles is equal to roughly 16 kilometers. So 16 kilometers, that's why I said like it is between LAN and WAN. Then you call that as metropolitan area networks, which is also called as MAN. You do also have a PAN, which is PAN. PAN is personal area network. Personal area network is like your Bluetooth connection. Okay, two people sitting next to each other and trying to send data from one mobile phone to another mobile phone using that Bluetooth. That is called as personal area network, which is considered to be less than even local area network. Okay, right. So these are the three things. Now we'll look each and everything in detail. So I just have put it in terms of a particular table like this so that you will understand it better. So you can see that personal area network is the smallest area network covering small distance. After that, you do have LAN, which will be covering a little bit more than the PAN area, and then MAN, which is more than LAN, and WAN is the widest of all, which is, like I said, which can connect to the continents, through the countries, and also to the entire world. So wide area network is an example of your internet. So I just have given some comparison over here based on certain points. Okay, so the first one is like based on the speed. Okay, so the speed of data transfer will be like this. Okay, so which will be megabits per second and all that, less than 1 megabits per second, and this will be like this. Now these data can vary. Okay, so you cannot take this data to be the correct exact values. These values are can vary now. Okay, fine. Then the range is like this. Okay, so 10 meters to 100 meters. This is up to 5 kilometers. And this is from 5 to 15 kilometers and 1000 kilometers and all that. So even more than 1000 kilometers. And the applications are like, it is used in device to device communication. And this is within an organization. And this is like multiple office buildings. And this is like to the entire world, connecting devices to the entire world. So these are the various categories of network, or you can also say the types of networks, which can be your essay question for the university examination. So what are the various types of networks? Okay, so this is a diagram which is showing a LAN connection. So you can see that LAN connection connecting 12 computers to a hub. So this is a hub, as I already told you, like it will be having slots to connect these computers. So all these computers are connected to the ports of this particular hub. Yesterday I gave you the difference between a hub and a switch. Okay, we know that a hub will is not so intelligent, is not intelligent. Switch is intelligent. Hub can, what happens is when this particular device, for example, this is PC1 and say this is PC8 or whatever, and if this PC1 wants to send data to PC8, what this hub does is the data comes to this particular port, and after coming to this port, this particular hub will transfer the data to every other port. But whatever computer wants to receive the data, only it will take the data. Now unnecessary traffic is there with the hub, but hubs are generally used to connect these local area networks. And coming to switch, a hub can know the MAC address, as well as the switch also can know the MAC address, but this will be transferring to every other device. Okay, now what switch will do is switch will actually maintain the MAC address in the table, in the routing table. So every device over here, the networking device will be having a table which is called as the routing table. So in this routing table, it will maintain the MAC address also. Okay, so when the data is transferred, it looks into the destination MAC address, and only to that particular computer the data is sent. That is the difference between the switch and hub. But switch and hub both are used in the LAN only. Okay, so these are the two devices which are used. So you can use a hub or a switch based on the requirement. So these two are the networking LAN networking devices. So this is an example which is in a building. So you can see that these 4 computers are in the first floor, these are in the second floor, and these are in the third floor. But all these computers are connected to each other, and how they are connected? They are connected to a hub. Okay, and the data is transmitted, and the data is exchanged between the devices using the LAN. So the data from this particular computer can be received at this particular computer as well. So to establish communication between these two devices within a building, you will be connecting it in a LAN. Okay, fine. This is again, this is WAN. So you can see that a WAN, there are 2 types of WANs here. The first one is called as the switched WAN, and the second one is point-to-point WAN. These are the 2 types of WANs that are available. What is WAN? WAN is wide area network. So here you can see that in the switched WAN, there will be a switched network like this, and this symbol, this yellow color box over here, is the symbol for the switch. Okay, so this is considered to be a switch, and each and every device will be connecting to the switch. Okay, and when this particular device, for example, A wants to send the data to B, so it will first come to this particular switch, and this switch will choose a path to send the data to B, and based on that path, the data will be sent to B. Or it can be like this, or it can be like this, or I mean any one of the paths it chooses. Okay, so this is first type, which is the switched WAN, and the second type is point-to-point WAN. So the point-to-point WAN will be connected to a modem. So this modem is considered to be like, you know, modem, right? Modem is like modulation and demodulation. So modulation and demodulation is used for converting the analog signals to digital and digital signals to analog. So this is a connection like your cable operator will give you, like it is a leased line. So we'll be taking a leased line, and by using this leased line, the connection is established. Okay, so the first type is your switched WAN, and the second type is your point-to-point WAN. So these are the 2 types of WANs, wherein in the switched WAN, like you will be having a switch or a router, which will be connecting to another LAN or another WAN. So that is your switched WAN. And coming to the point-to-point WAN is leased line from the telephone operator or from a cable operator, and that connects to internet service provider. So you can see that in the diagram. So the computer is connected with a modem, and there is a point-to-point communication over here, which is WAN communication. Again, there is a modem here, and there is an internet service provider here. So this is how the connection will be. So the person will be thinking that he is having a direct connection to the internet service provider. So internet service provider is the one who provides the internet, and in India, like the national internet service providers are like Jio, Airtel, VI, then BSNL and MTNL. All these are the internet service providers, our national internet service providers, among whom, like you can see, Jio is topping the list. And Jio also provides like wireless internet connection and also wire internet connection, with wireless being more popular. So almost 400 million subscribers are there for Jio. Jio is an internet service provider, and Jio is an internet service provider where you can see like more than 400 million subscribers are wireless connections to it. So wire connection will be like this. Okay, so there will be a modem, and the modem is used to convert the analog signals to digital and digital signals to analog. So here the digital signals will be converted. The digital signals that are generated by the computer are converted to the analog signals, and they are transmitted through the medium over here. So this is the medium, so wherein which is called as the point-to-point WAN, and again it reaches to the modem of the ISP, where the analog signals are again converted to the digital signals and they are sent to the ISP. Okay, and the ISP will send it to the destination. Examples of the WAN. So there are 3 WANs over here. The first one is the X2.5. So this is an example of a WAN, and another example is ATM. So asynchronous transfer mode. So this is another example of the WAN, and another example of WAN is the frame relay. Okay, so because to provide high speed and more efficient network, X.25, okay, so X.25 is replaced with the frame relay. Okay, so frame relay is more fast. Okay, so it is high speed, and also it provides an efficient network. So which is replaced, X.25 is replaced with the frame relay. So frame relay is an example of your wide area network. So these are the 2 types of networks, and coming to the third type of network. So the third type of network is your metropolitan area network. So as I already told you, it's a network in between the size of LAN and WAN. It normally covers the area inside a town or a city. Okay, and so it is designed for the customers who wants high speed network. And so here, like an example of your MAN can be a telephone company, or it can be the cable operator who will be providing the high speed DSL line to the customer. So example is like your cable TV network, like which can provide you the internet facility as well. So these are all the types of categories of the network. Okay, so the first one is the LAN, which is local area network, which is used to connect the computers within a building, or you can also say, for example, at your home, like say for example at your home you want to establish an office within a room. Okay, so there is a room in your home which you want to make it as an office, and there is a computer, your computer, and there is you appointed somebody, an employee who is having another computer. So there are 2 computers in this home office along with the printer. Say there is a printer over here. Okay, and now you want to give establish connection between this computer and this printer and this computer and this printer. So to give these connections, you require a LAN. Okay, so to connect to this printer and scanner and all that also you require a LAN. Okay, I hope everybody understood. So if you want to share the resources can be shared. So maybe it is a hardware resource or it can be a software resource. So hardware resources like scanner, printers and all that, and or else the software applications which are there in another computer. Say that in this computer there is an application program or there is a data in this particular computer which you want to access in this from this particular computer. So then you need a connection over here which is LAN. Okay, so not only in a building which is having 3 floors or 4 floors and some computers like 10 computers and all that, even if you want to connect 2 computers together with a printer or to anything, you require a LAN. Okay, so LAN is used for that, and you can use the topologies like bus topology and ring topology and star topology to connect the LAN. Okay, so to establish connection between devices using LAN, the topologies that you require are the bus topology, the ring topology, and the star topology. And to establish connections using a wide area network, as I already told you, it is mesh topology. Okay, because you need reliability, you need robustness, because in mesh topology, you do have connections from every point to every other point. In case if one link is broken, then connection still is established. But in other topologies, if one link is lost, because there is more dependency on in the bus topology, there is dependency on the long cable, and in ring topology, if one link is gone, then the entire network comes down. And so again in star topology, you do again there is dependency on the central hub and all that. So that's the reason for the internet, for the wide area network, we do not prefer these topologies. The best topology that we prefer for wide area network is the mesh topology, because the robustness and reliability is there. Even if one link goes down, okay, so as I already explained to you in the previous class, even if one link goes down, still you do have another path to reach to that destination. But that is not possible in the other topologies. So for the LAN, we'll be using the bus, ring and star topology, and for the wide area network, we'll be using the mesh topology. So I hope this concept is clear to everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So let us look into another diagram. So this is an example of what can be an internet. So you can see that interconnection of networks is called as internetwork. Interconnection of networks is called as internetwork, and this internetwork is also called as internet. Okay, so we are just giving it a short form. So what is the short form of that? So that is internet. What is internet? When 2 or more networks are connected, they become an internetwork or internet. So this is a diagram which depicts all that concept. So wherein there is an heterogeneous networks over here. So that heterogeneous networks are, what is this network, Andy? So can you tell me what is this LAN? What is the topology of this LAN?
Bus topology, no?
So this is the bus topology. So the LAN here is connected in a bus topology. And what is this topology? So this is a LAN. Yeah, this is a network. Yeah, this is a LAN which is of star topology. Now that is what is called as heterogeneous. So there are 2 LANs over here. So one LAN is of bus topology and another LAN is of star topology. Okay, say for example, there are 2 branches for Reliance. Okay, so we do have 2 branches. Say this is the branch 1 of Reliance and this is branch 2 of Reliance. And in branch 1, say that the billing systems are all connected in bus, and in the other branch, say that all the systems are connected in star. Okay, and now somebody in the middle, so there is an office, Reliance office, wherein the person wants to look into the sales of how the office 1 is working and office 2 is working. So this is the person who is sitting in somewhere around. Okay, so this is another, this is office 1 and this is Reliance store 2, you can say, like, okay, so this is an office which is somewhere else. And we do wants to establish connections between all these three so that the person sitting in the office can actually access the data like the sales information that is in office 1 and office 2 or the store 1 and store 2. Now how this is possible? So this is possible with a WAN. So here inside the office we are having a LAN. Okay, so inside the office the systems are connected using a LAN, and if you when you want to connect these two LANs which are in two different geographical locations, you require a WAN. Okay, so now here you are connecting these two LANs using a WAN over here. So I am having a WAN here, and what is this WAN? This WAN is a switched WAN with 4 switches or 4 routers over here. So that's why we call this as 4 WANs and 2 LANs. Okay, so this office is in the other side of the city and this office is in the other side of the city. But we are able to look into these computers or the data that is generated by these computers by using an internet. So this person is sitting somewhere else, and you can see that the connection here is a point-to-point WAN. So the person is connecting, so the person or the office is connecting to the WAN by using a point-to-point WAN. So there is a modem and there is a point-to-point WAN, and this is a modem and this is the internet service provider, and which is a switched WAN. And here this LAN is connected to this router and this LAN is connected to this router. Okay, so to this particular WAN. So this is the router which is connecting to this particular WAN, which is a switch, and this is again connecting to this one. Okay, right. So you can also establish another connection here. Okay, another connection is possible over here. So this is an example of heterogeneous network which is having 4 WANs and 2 LANs. So this is how the connection is established, and this is an example of internet, how the systems are connected. So say for example in Vishnu educational organization, we are having a LAN connection, and it is a leased connection to an internet service provider. So all the data will go there, and from there the data will be routed to the destinations. So this is an example of an internet. So let us look into the next topic, which is protocols and standards. So I hope everybody understood what are network models and so the wide area network and the local area network, the categories of the network, local area, wide area, and the metropolitan area network, and what is personal area network. So I hope everybody understood. Shall I move forward with the next topic? Okay, so what is your next topic? Your next topic is protocols and standards. What is a protocol? So let us look into what is meant by a protocol. We'll look into the more detailed definition. As of now, just understand that a protocol is synonymous to a rule. Okay, so a rule or a protocol can be interchangeably used. And what is a standard? A standard is agreed upon a rule. Okay, so some rules are formed. For example, some rules are formed, and these rules are standardized. Like you agree upon these rules are standardized, and whoever wants to use this standard means that they're agreeing on these particular rules. Okay, so the rules are formed and the rules are iterated again and again, and a final copy of the rules are formed, and these rules are standardized. Okay, and the standardization means that agreeing upon the rule. So everybody who wants to use that protocol need to follow the rules. Okay, so agreed upon the rules. So let us look into what is a protocol. Okay, protocol means that, for example, so here we are talking about computer networks where there are two devices which are also called as entities which communicate between each other, meaning that, as I already told you, that the purpose of the computer network or data communication itself is sharing of information. So these two entities, which are also called as devices, will receive and transmit information. And communication in computer networks occurs between these two devices. Okay, right. It can be between two, a hardware and a software, or it can be from a software and a hardware, or it can be between a hardware and hardware also. Okay, so that is communication. And to communicate the entities, okay, so to communicate, to establish communication between these entities, the two entities must agree on a protocol. Okay, so they must agree on a protocol, and it consists of set of rules that govern the data communication. So data communication should happen in this manner. So that is what is called as protocol, and it determines what is communicated, how it is communicated, and when it is communicated. So protocol will define all this. It will define like what is communicated, how is communicated, and when it is communicated. So say for example, the protocols like SMTP and TCP and IP and UDP, all these are protocols. The P over here, okay, so is considered to be the protocol. Okay, so transmission control protocol, internet protocol, user datagram protocol. So all these are examples. Okay, so these are protocols are important to follow the same when we need them. So if you want to use the TCP protocol, you need to follow the rules of what TCP mentions. So these are the key elements of the protocol. So the first element is syntax, the second element is semantics, and the third element is timing. So these are the three entities. Okay, so key elements of the protocol. The first one is syntax, the second one is semantics, and the third one is timing. So now let us look into what is meant by syntax. The syntax means structure or format of the data, which can be like the order in which they are presented. It is also called as field delineation. Delineation means like in Telugu we call it like vivarinchatam. Okay, so for example, each and every field will be having a particular description. So field delineation means like you will be describing each and every field. So that is called a syntax protocol. For example, if you are having a packet or a frame, which is nothing but a stream of bits, right? So it is a stream of bits. Say I'm having a stream of bits like this. Ultimately, everything need to be transmitted in terms of streams of bits. So when these streams of bits are there, so there need to be a standard which will tell me like what are the first 8 bits and what are the last 8 bits and what it represents and all that. So that is called a syntax protocol. For example, the first 8 bits of the data can be the address of the sender. This need to be standardized, and this is the rule, like the first 8 bits are like the address of the sender. The last 8 bits are the address of the receiver, and the rest of the bits that are there in between, all the digital bits are considered to be the message. So this can be like one of a very simple example of a protocol. And if this protocol, that's why I said like the sender and the receiver destination, the source and the destination need to agree upon the protocol. Because if they do not agree, for example, the sender is thinking that the first 8 bits or the first byte is the sender address, and next 8 bits are the destination address, and the rest of the data is the message. If the sender is thinking or is preparing a frame in such manner, and the destination is interpreting the same bits in a different manner, then there will be wrong information communicated between these two entities. So it is important that these two things, like which are exchanging the data, need to agree upon the protocol. So the protocol is like first 8 bits are the sender address and the last 8 bits are the destination. So the destination also will agree to that. Like the first 8 bits are the sender information and the last 8 bits are the destination address and all that. So that is considered to be a protocol. That's why I said like both the entities need to agree upon these protocols. Because else it will not know how to interpret the data. That is what the order in which they are presented, it do not know, like. And also the field delineation, like what does the each and every field represent. And coming to what is semantic protocol, semantic protocol refers to meaning of each section of bits. For example, does an address identify the router's address or the final destination address? So that is semantic protocols. For example, here I said like there is a destination. See, the data is not directly sent from the source to the destination. There is no direct communication between the sender and the destination. There will be so many hops in between. Like from the sender to the destination, they will be going to your from your you're in your organization. So it will go through the hub. Then it will go through some switch, and then it will go through the router, So the router is like the gateway which will communicate between two LANs. And again, maybe there is again another LAN over here, and this router will communicate to the router which is again there in this particular LAN, and from this particular LAN maybe it goes to another hub, and then finally it reaches to the destination. So there will be many hops that it will take. The message do not directly go from the source to the destination. So the meaning of it, like I'm saying that the last 8 bits are the destination address, but it need to know like whether it is the final destination address or it is the router's address. Okay, so that clarity need to be there. So that is what will be defined in the semantics protocol. And next comes the timing protocol. So the timing protocol refers with two characteristics it do have. So to give it in a nutshell, I have given a point over here, which means like what is timing. To give the definition, it is the speed at which data should be sent or speed at which it should be received. So this is another protocol. For example, say that the sender is transmitting the data, like the sender's capacity of generating the data is at 100 megabits per second, and the receiver is able to process only 1 megabits per second. So then there is a problem, right? So the receiver and the destination capabilities are different. And what happens, the receiver will be overwhelmed with many bits, and finally the data will be lost. Some data will be lost because the receiver will not be able to process all the data at the same time. For example, maybe my speed of delivering the lecture is very fast, and your capability or your IQ is very less to process that data. So then what happens, your understanding will be minimal. So I have to go according to your pace, like how, because there are different IQ students in the class. So I need to make it a point like every student in the class understands the topic. So you can just understand that analogy to be the timing. So the sender's capacity is like 100 Mbps and the receiver's capability is only 1 Mbps. Then there is a mismatch. Okay, so the sender keeps on sending the data and the receiver will be having so much of data to receive, and its capability is not sufficient. So what happens, ultimately there will be a overload at the receiver end, and then some of the data may get lost. So again, the two entities should agree on this protocol. So what is meant by a protocol? Protocol is synonymal to the rule, and the two entities should agree on a protocol. Okay, so protocols are the rules, and so all the entities, like you can say like whenever two entities wants to communicate, they need to agree on the protocol. And it is set of rules that govern the data communication. So here we are talking about data communication, and the rules that govern the data communication, say it in terms of, it can be in terms of the syntax protocol or the semantic protocol, or it can be the timing protocol. So all these are considered to be the protocol. So I hope everybody understood what is a protocol.
Yes, ma'am.
So in tomorrow's class, we'll see what is a standard, and we'll discuss the standards, and finally we'll look into the OSI model. So I'll stop my class today.